thank the coordinators for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts on smart grid in this online Atal FDP on electrical distribution system analysis with renewable energy sources. The topic of my talk today would be the smart grid distribution systems. Now, the contents of my presentation would be the introduction. What is the smart grid? What is the role of a smart meter, microgrids, smart grid role in transmission and distribution, various components like SCADA system, energy storage, advantages, applications, case studies, and the challenges and issues arising in smart grid applications, recommendation for future research, and finally the conclusions. So first of all, what is the introduction of the smart grid? In recent years, the term smart grid become a widely used buzzword with relation to the operation of electric power system. A smart grid is nothing but it's a modern electric system. It is used recently in most developed countries like USA, Japan, China, and European. Even in India, now we have started working towards the smart grid operations in since 2015. And why it has been used widely? It is used to improve reliability, efficiency, safety, and most importantly, to reduce CO2 emission by using renewable energies. Now, what is the smart grid as per the international standards? So, the definition of a smart grid by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, that is NIST USA, is that a modernized grid that enables bidirectional flows of energy and uses two-way communication and control capabilities that will lead to an array of new functionalities and applications. This is as per the NIST definition. Now coming to the IEEE definition of the smart grid is a large system of systems where each functional domain consists of basically three layers. One is the power and the energy layer. Second is the communication layer, and third is the IT or the computer layer. Now the layers of related to 2 and 3, that is the communication and the computer, that is jointly called as ICT layers. They are enabling infrastructures that makes the existing power and energy infrastructure smarter. So the introduction of the IT in communication system make the conventional grid into the smarter grid. That's why it has been called as the smart grid. Now the domain of the smart grid, they spans over generation, transmission, distribution till the customer devices. So this is how we can say it has a widely operating reason, including just from the generation of electricity towards the distribution till the customer end. Now, if we see in simpler words, what is the answer for the smart grid? It is nothing but the combination of the IT or the role of the IT into the electric grid. It is operated by interconnection of elements. Now, the elements are the central elements and the distributed generator through the high voltage network and distribution system into the industrial users, energy storage installations, and consumers. Now, what are the advantages of what the smart grid enables us to do? It gives the clean and flexible generation, so share of renewable energy sources to increase the energy storage, flexible transmission, so it can be used with the aid of the FACTS and the HVDC devices in the system, energy storage system, system-wide secure communication network, then the automation system, which includes SCADA and EMS, synchronous phasor-based WAMPES, ADMS, or home, building, or industrial automation. That means it can be used in all kind of automation system, just starting from a hold, a residential building, and it goes up to the large industrial area. Now, it can also be applied in the active distribution network, sensors, which is comprising of smart meters and phase measurement units, that's PMUs, smart analytics, that is wide area monitoring and control, DSM, that is demand side management, and finally looking into the restructuring of the power system. It enables to operate in market and regulatory framework. Now, the concept of smart grid leads to the few new concepts. Like there is one term called prosumer, that is nothing but the producer of electricity plus the consumer. Now, virtual synchronous generator, that gives us the artificial led inertia through the converter controls. So this is virtually we can control the converters. Then ADMS, that is the Advanced Distribution Management System. Now this ADMS is employed to coordinate DMS and MEMS. DMS is demand management side, and MEMS, that is the microgrid energy management system. So these are the few terms which are used in usually with the smart grid applications. Now, one important component is DERS, that is the distributed energy resources. Now, distributed generation using renewable technology, it is consisting of many types of renewable energy resources. So that is basically the photovoltaics or the PV system. Here in India, we are aiming towards the generation more than the 100 gigawatt by 2022. Now the solar thermal, that is the combination hybrid, you can say this is the solar plus thermal. Small wind systems. Now the systems up to the capacity of 50 kilowatt we defined as the small wind system. Large wind system that they have range up to 1 to 2 megawatt, and biomass energy. So these are the general renewable energy resources used in DERs. Now storage technologies are also comprising of four components: mechanical, electrical, chemical, and electrochemical. These are the storage technologies associated with the smart grid applications. Now, how does the, you can say, schematic or the scenario looks like for the smart grid? So here, the power plants, they are integrated and connected in ring system to support the loads. So you can see that here it has got all the components like transmission, distribution, and they are connected to the hybrid or the, in addition to the conventional grid, we are using the renewable energy resources. Now, the role of smart metering in the smart grid. The smart meters, you can say the schematic of the smart meter, the conventional type of smart meter looks like this. So here it is used to record and measure electricity, to provide the consumption and price data for the other signals, to send remotely to a central data management system center. Here the you can say the signals or the recording from these smart meters we can send to the centralized data management center, and where the centrally we can make the control of all the metering and the automation system. That is something just like similar to the SCADA system. Now, what are the benefits of these smart meters? In that case, we are having the advantage of having the accurate bills, less time waiting in for the meter reading. So not much of time is wasted in recording the readings. Could help you to save money as we get the accurate bills. So there is less chances that the bills are more. So it will be saving in money. Reduce the theft of energy. Nowadays, we all are seeing that our conventional meters are get replaced slowly by the smart meters. Now, I think in most of the residential sectors, the conventional meters have been replaced by the smart meters. So this gives a greater advantage in reducing the theft of energy. Then faster resolution of problems, as they are the smarter in working. So the operation time or the recording time is less, so it will give the faster resolution of the problem, and it can be very well used in the micro generation. Now, one of the integral part of the smart grid is the microgrid. So the microgrid is an integrated energy solution that serves a group of consumers, and we can buy and sell electricity from this microgrid. So this we can make use of the microgrid in the smaller groups of the consumers. This is something how the typical, you can say, framework of the microgrid looks like. So here, this is depicted here, a residential block in which the renewable energy is the solar PV, which is installed on the roof of the house. And here the inverters are used to change the energy. And you can see that this utility grid is connected also by the pole, so that we can have the energy from the electrical outlets, and we can make use of this energy for the consumer circuit. And here one utility production meter and consumption meter are there. They are the smart meters. So by the use of this, we can get the reading for the energy consumed. That is installed just outside the house. This is a typical example. This is here used in the residential block. So here we can make use of this in the smaller group of residential blocks. Now the major, you can say, advantage or the major point of attraction of the smart grid is that it unites both the ends of the electrical power generation, that is the transmission and the distribution. And here how these two systems are interfaced, this we can make use by seeing this diagram. Here how this can be reached, this electricity generation can be reached to the customer. So here the components interconnected are the markets also for the restructuring. The centralized operating control center is there. Service providers are there. They can be private players also. Now the generation has been done by the bulk generation, then it can be transmitted to the towers, and it can then reach to the distribution center, and from distribution center it can reach to the customer. And this is nothing but here we are making use of the smart grid concept. So you see here the windmill is shown in this figure, and one electric vehicle is also shown. So here you can see that we can make use of this smart grid in order to do our charging also, and renewable energy can be integrated with the conventional electricity which is coming from the generating station. So the dashed yellow lines are showing the electrical interface, and the dark blue lines, they are nothing but they show the secure communication interface between the different units of this transmission and distribution concept utilizing in the smart grid. Now here the distribution generation can be done in various forms of the energy, like nuclear power plant, hydropower plant, wind power plant, or solar PV. So solar radiation can be used as the input. Now the geothermal heat also, natural gases can also be used, and the biomass. Now most of the research are nowadays the people are taking up this biomass energy. So here we can say these are the different forms of energy which can be utilized. And now the right side shows the combination of this renewable energy with the conventional energies. So here you can say these different sources can be used, like hydro, biomass, geothermal, pump storage, nuclear, coal, etc. And gas can also be used. Now, the most important parameter here is the distribution automation, that is the DA. So what does we understand by this distribution automation? This distribution automation is nothing but it's a combination of, or a family of technologies, including sensors, processors, communication networks, and switches that can perform a number of distribution system functions depending on how they are implemented in the different configuration. And now the utilities have been applying this distributed automation to improve reliability, service quality, and operational efficiency in the power system. So, yeah. Hello. Can I continue? I request participants to please mute your mics. Hello. Okay. So the
I have muted all participants.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is the schematic of the distribution automation, how it looks like. So from the source, the energy comes, then it can be transmitted by using a transmitter. Now the communication channel is in between the source and the destination. And after going through this dedicated link for communication channel, the energy it receives by the receiver, and then it can be fed up to the final destination. So this is how the distribution automation take place. Now, these are some of the other schematics of this concepts of a smart grid, how we can have the large industrial area and the in residential consumers, then the commercial consumers also. Now, here you can see that the high voltage transmission is also there. So this is nothing but the different type of schematics, or the you can say the how this concept can be utilized more than one consumer side. Now here the SCADA system also plays an important role. So that is, we are very much familiar with this control system, that is the supervisory control and data acquisition system. So basically this SCADA system is used to monitor and control in association with the smart grids. For what? It is the electrical utilities, they use this SCADA system to detect basically the current flow in the line voltage. So these are the signals which are used by the utilities employing this SCADA system. And for the protection system, this plays a very important role. So to monitor the operation of circuit breakers, which we are employed for the protection of the different circuitry, to take sections of the power grid online or offline. By using this SCADA system, we can make the sections of the power grid, and we can take the control and operation and maintenance of the power grid in different sections. So that is the very important role of SCADA system. Gathering and analyzing real-time data. Here what comes, the real-time data is captured in this system, and so we can make use of the storage or the gathering of that data, and then afterwards we can analyze this real-time data. So in order to protect the system in an anticipation, we can do the controls to avoid the major setback or major collapse of the system. When some unnatural fault or some the dip in the voltage or some changes in the frequency occur. So that is also one of the big role of the SCADA system, and it transfer the information back into the central side. So this supervisory control, it gathers and transfer this information, or it fed back the information back to the centralized control station. Now, this is something like the elements of the SCADA system. So here we can say there are the majorly 4 components of this SCADA system. First important is the field instrumentation. Second is the remote telemetry units, that's the remote station ID. Third one is the communication network. And fourth is the central monitoring station, or the master terminal unit, that is called as MTU. So you can see this is how these are interrelated in order to get the supervisory control of our system. Now, in brief, what are the major roles of these 4 components of this SCADA system is that the field instrumentation. So this is nothing but the devices used for the monitoring and controlling of the parameters associated in the electrical system. Sensors, that is they may be the digital or the analog, and control relays that directly interface with the managed system. These devices are connected to the RTU, that is the remote stations or remote units. So in short, the field instrumentation is nothing but the consists of the devices for controlling and monitoring the parameters and sensing the signals. Second component is the remote telemetry units. So remote telemetry units consist of small computerized units deployed in the field at a specific sites and location. So these are the small computerized units that we can make use to install at different sites and the defined locations. These RTU, that is the remote telemetry units, they serve at local collection points for gathering reports from sensor and delivering command to control relay. So we can make use of the local protection system or local control system by incorporating these remote telemetry units. So instead of getting one centralized command, we can give the command and we can gather the reports generated from that place by making use of these RTUs. Now, they can also be used for receiving data and control signals from MTU, that is a master telemetry unit, and transmitting the control signals to the plant devices. Now these are the different terminals of this RTU, that is the remote terminal unit. What are the inputs and what are the outputs of these remote telemetry units? So inputs for this RTU, they are the inputs from the field devices. So they can be the signals of the meters, alarms, switches, field analog devices, and equipment status. And the inputs from MTU, they are the orders to respond. So here the input from MTU are the orders to respond or instructions to respond as per the situation which arises by comparing the data. Now, the output to MTU, they are the signals of alarm, field, analog devices and meters, and equipment status along with the messages of the command. And now the output from the RTU are the output which goes to the field devices. So they are the serial messages to the field equipment, analog and discrete control, and they are in a form of pulse train stepping motor control. So this is how this remote telemetry unit works on the commands and the input from the field devices, and it fetch back the commands to the field devices. Now, the third component of this is the communication networks. The communication network that connect to the SCADA master terminal unit to remote telemetry unit. So this is the network basically which connects MTU, that is the master terminal unit, to RTU, that is the remote telemetry unit. Now, SCADA communication techniques, they include modulation of signals, multiplexing, message formatting, and information transfer. So these are the associated work analogy for the communication network. Now coming to the last and the important is that is the CMU or CMS, that is the Central Monitoring Station. So this is considered as the heart of the system where its main functions are making the communication, gathering data, storing information, and sending that information to other systems. Okay, so this is basically the main part of this unit, which is collecting data also. It communicates with other system also, and as per the requirement sends information and signals to the other systems, and it will be storing the information also for the future reference. Now it processes the data gathered by remote stations to generate the necessary action. It is also the processing of the command or the data generated by the remote stations is also done here in this central monitoring station. It also interfaces to the operators mainly via monitors and printers, the input and outputs of the MTU. So the interfacing between the different operators are also done making use of the computers, and for taking out the messages for the reference and the action, we can gather that command in by taking printout then and there. So this is all how this central monitoring station works. This is just a diagram, you can say the panel specification or the how does it looks like when the system is in working for the SCADA system. Now the important one important aspect of this smart grid is the energy storage, and this most of the research nowadays is going on this energy storage only. So here the distributed energy storage can help the grid remain stable with the potential to make it more efficient and reliable system that leads to the lower operating cost in long term. We can say some people are always arguing that this is costly system, right? It has got the high installing cost, but the operating cost is lower as we increase the efficiency of the system and we make it more reliable. So with the use of this in long term, we can say this is more economical and viable as compared to the conventional system. So this is how the energy storage can be done. Here also you can see that they are making use of the this wind turbine as the source of renewable energy resources, right? Fuel cells are also there. So you can say this is the concept of a hybrid energy storage system. And the residential buildings which are getting power from these they are termed here as the smart homes. Okay, so we can make use of our this electrical vehicle charging also by in this smart home concept. This is how the energy storage system looks like. These are the power plant of the Vietnam case study. This is how it works. This power plant is there. So the power generated is PGN, that gives the power generation. Now the P load gives the power which is consumed by the different loads. So loads here are shown in terms of the industrial load, in terms of these factories, and the household load in terms of the houses row of houses, and the extra power which is apart from this power consumed or the power requirement of the load, that is stored as P store in this energy storage facility. So these they represents the arrows represents the energy flow. So the generating power plant, the excess power which is apart from this the power consumption or the load requirement is stored in this energy storage facility. Now, the different advantages of this concept is that it gives high reliability, economics, it increases economic aspect also, more efficient system, environmental, it is very much, you can say it reduces the detrimental effect of the CO2 emission to the environment. That is why it is always called the green power generation, or the different subsidies are introduced by Government of India to increase this green power generation. So it is very much effective in reducing the detrimental effect of CO2 emission to the environment or the nature. It increases the safety aspects also, as we are making use of the smart meters, and also we are making use of the localized section of the control and monitoring. So it enhances the safety aspect, and it increases the security also. So the theft of the energy associated with the conventional one reduces by introducing this concept. It gives more reliable power because it automatically rerouting and restoring. So whenever there is access, it goes to the energy storage. Whenever there is a crunch of power, the system can automatically, it supplies back to the system from the storage. So that is called the automatic rerouting and restoring of the power, which enhances reliability of the system. Now it gives the more economic it increases the economic aspect, because in long term we are able to get a sustainable, more efficient, and you can say less hazardous power. So that is why it enhances the economic aspect of the system. Here we can have the feel that it can be used in the different parts of the system. So like green power generation, then the power plants also there, renewable batteries are there, rechargeable batteries are there for the storage system. And so this we can say just like a household consumer, it can we can make use of different utility like air conditioners, now the electric water heater, washing machine. So this is just an example how it can be more efficiently and economically used, making use of this concept. Now, as I already discussed, that it increases the efficiency of the system, making use of the different smart meter concepts. The you can say that losses are less, so the more efficient system we can have at the end user side. It gives it reduces the dangerous effects of the carbon dioxide emission. So this is that is why it is called as the greenhouse effect, or it is called as the green power generation. So it is beneficial to the environment aspect also. Safety and security are enhances with the making use of the fast fault detection, isolation, and restoration. So we can make our system more safe and more secure. So this is how the different regulatory controls which are employed here. Just if we see starting from generation and transmission, then it comes to the substation, then voltage regulators are there to monitor, control, capacitor bank is there to monitor the power factor. So just by making use of these controlling devices, we can increase its safety and security aspect. Now coming to the applications of the smart grid, the application of mitigating impacts of plug-in hybrid and battery electric vehicles and allowing the implementation of vehicle to grid. So now these two analysis, vehicle to grid and grid to vehicle, V2G and G2V are coming up recently. Now, basically, this smart grid technologies can be defined as self-sufficient systems that can find solutions to problems quickly in an available system that reduces the workforce and targets sustainable, reliable, safe, and quality electricity to all consumers. So, this is the concept and the application of this smart grid technologies. Now we can make use of this smart grid concept for optimal operation and control of distribution systems and allowing the implementation of microgrids. So by making use of this smart grid concept, we can also make implementation of the microgrids for the distributed generation system. Now, what is the importance of a smart grid in today's scenario? The smart grid entails technology applications that will allow an easier integration and high penetration of renewable energy. We can integrate more than one source of renewable energy along with this conventional energy. So we are allowing the easier integration and high penetration of renewable energy resources. It will be essential for accelerating the development and widespread uses of plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, that is PHEVs, and their potential use as storage for the grid. So this concept is very widely used in the concept of this plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, where we can plug in our vehicle when it is not in use. So it can be automatically charged by that source, and then in the morning we can make use of that vehicle. So this is the concepts of this plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, how these power electronic circuits, etc., are used in this battery recharge system, plug-in system. So you can see that these are the upper one is the model for this electric vehicle, and the lower one, you can see this is the charging station here. You can see how this can be charged. Okay. This is the concept of vehicle to grid and grid to vehicle. That is the most recent version of this smart grid technology, how we can make use of this technology in the charging also, and for this refueling of our vehicles also, electric vehicles also. So they can be the battery operated, they can be hybrid, and they can be use of the fuel cell as the energy storage system. Now, there is one case study of a smart grid at Texas, USA. So here they are calling it as the Smart Grid 1. It can be concluded, that can be concluded by the end of 2009. So their aim is to focus on utility side of the grid, going from the central power plant to the transmission and distribution, and all the way back to the consumer, that is the meter end. So this is the general concept, how we can make use of this smart grid. So they in that study, they have that time making use of the hybrid or the mixed type of sources like nuclear, coal, natural gas, renewable energy for the total of 2600 megawatt. That was the way back in 2009. Now by the 2020, this Austin Energy, they plans to obtain 700 megawatt of energy efficiency and share a 30% of renewable energy in its generation portfolio, of which 100 megawatt is coming from solar. So the out of this total 700 megawatt, they are coming up with the 100 megawatt for the solar PV system. So this is how we can see, like a way back, they have given this concept, and they are making use of this smart grid and smart metering concept. Now there are certainly, if we are going towards some recent concept or some latest development in the technologies, there are certain few technical challenges associated with some concept. So here the renewable generation and the few technical challenges associated with this is the intermittent generation dependent on weather, season, time of day, need accurate forecasting and power balancing. As we see that depending upon the weather condition, the wind, the energy may be changed, the solar, depending upon the time, the intensity of solar radiation may change. So that is why here we are dependent on the weather and the season, and also the time at which we are doing our analysis or the monitoring. Voltage and frequency control is also a little bit challenging here. Many of these sources do not have reactive power generation, so the control of this voltage and frequency is somewhat difficult in this technology. Then sudden generation loss can lead to the system instability. Also inertia, less generation, that is in solar. So here the sudden generation loss may occur, and due to this sudden generation of loss, the system may go into the instability mode. Power quality issues are associated because of the use of the power electronics converters and power electronics devices. So the issues related to the power quality here we have to take up for the harmonics, the voltage flickers, under voltage ride through capability, and they have to be maintained as per the IEEE and IEC standards. Power management and maximum power tracking is little bit difficult with this technology, and it requires proper control and design of the converters and controllers used in this system. Now, the key challenges to the smart grid concept is that in general, communication infrastructure for smart grid should meet the requirements. For the requirements for the communication infrastructures are time synchronization, reliability, latency, criticality of data delivery. That should be very pinpointed. Otherwise, our system would be going to collapse. And support for the multicast load forecasting. Furthermore, a major issue in networking communication in smart grid is interoperability. Since the system is interconnected, so it is depending upon the operations of the different units connected. Now, the main opportunities for the smart grids are, the opportunities for smart grid analytics are expanding because there is exponentially more data available to develop analytical models, getting full utility out of the smart grid data. We can get better data governance, better technology, skill development and resource generation, alignment with mobile strategy, and use of the standard analytics solutions. So these are the you can say the good opportunities associated with the smart grid technology. Now, the recent trend towards this smart grid technologies. Research and advancement on smart grids have been seen tremendously increase in the last decade. This is why smart grid technology has been shifted from virtual reality and concept to the implementation phase. Even in India, we have started from 2015 working towards this smart grid technology. In the last 10 years, 26,668 different research articles have been published on the smart grids and the issues related to the smart grids, which clearly depicts a keen interest of researchers in this field. So we can see in the last 10 years, more than 25,000 research papers have been published in this area. So this is nowadays the latest advancement in the area of the power system engineering. Now, a smart grid will be a game changer in electrical power distribution with more flexibility and in efficient ways. Now, there are certain recommendations for the future research in this smart grid going through the last 10 decades work. Smart grid technologies have continued along their development and deployment paths since the completion of 2009 SGSR. Visions of an electricity system that not only provides service but also interacts and communicates with the end user. This is the major key area of this smart grid application. So our country should work towards this technology to get reliability between the providers and the users. The future work or the future research and report should consider addressing the following potential improvements in this technology. The further evaluation of stakeholder feedback, that is an important point we can take up as the further research. Further investigation and analysis of the risks and the challenges associated with the organizational units. Review progress towards resolving smart grid challenges. Now coming to the concluding part, the smart grid use communications and information technology, that is called jointly as ICT, with the objective to improve reliability, operating efficiency, and reduce impact to the environment. Smart grid technology can play a key role in the green power installed at the distribution system. Technological advances are developing some unique generators, especially in the wind turbine area and solar PV systems. So this is this ends my talk on this smart grid technology, which comprises of the few concepts, definitions, components, and major challenges and the future research. Thank you very much. Thank you for patient listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. So, audience, if you have any question, you may ask.
Hello.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Hello.
You may ask question.
Uh, hello.
A very good afternoon, ma'am. A very good afternoon, sir. Ma'am, I just wanted to ask one question. What is the means in recent times with respect to India? What is the scenario for smart grid? Like we always listen it for in other parts of the world, but according to India and with Indian scenario, can you please tell a bit around it? Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Expert. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Hello.
Yeah. With respect to your question regarding a smart grid concept in India, the National Smart Grid Mission was already approved by Indian Ministry of Power on 27 March 2015, and we have allocated 14 smart grid pilot projects throughout the India that can be implemented state-owned distribution utilities. So that concept has already been arrived in 2015, as I discussed in my talk also, and the different states owned distribution utilities are working towards it. So it has already been introduced in our country.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, good morning. I am from Bhopal. My name is Bhanatu Somanna.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a one small ma'am. In our smart grid system, we are using SCADA, ma'am. So SCADA is to detect the current and voltage power flows. So my doubt, I have a small doubt in that. when the small hackers are entered in our SCADA system, they can manipulate our data. So any alter plan is there?
That supervisory control units are there to see the you can say to avoid the malfunctioning, right? That is why these smart metering concept is used. So that is the integration of this smart grid along with the remotely monitor and control network devices, so that
In place of
we can
SCADA system, why we are not using phasor measurement unit also?
we can use PMU also. That is one of the other concept of this smart grid technology. Since I have to go through the only the conceptual ideas, this PMU, VAMs, etc., wide area management, that can all be implemented in this, no doubt.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, this is Jiten Singh from NIT Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I wanted to know, like, we are integrating the renewable sources into distribution system to make it smart. So, is there any encouragement for DG owners towards the installation of DG system?
Yeah, subsidies are there. Definitely it depends upon the what is the policy and what are the you can say the energy department is looking for that. But definitely there are certain subsidies announced for that.
And any penalty for carbon emission related issue?
Yeah, it should be there. Exactly, I'm not knowing what is that what is in terms of the you can say the value, but it is there. You can see in the literature. It's definitely it should be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this is Meena Kumari. No, actually, we have implemented any distribution system with integration of RECs with this control features and all that in India.
Yeah. That's you can say small systems are already the people are working for that. Majorly, they are making use of the solar in the labs.
Okay.
So that's they are integrating, and some have already done with the making use of this wind energy also.
Ma'am, actually, I'm from Tamil Nadu. There is a larger potential for this wind energy system. But we people are struggling a lot to evacuate the wind energy to connect to this distribution system. That's what I'm asking.
Usually here they are making use of this solar, so that because that can be easily fetched and we are getting it. So solar I have seen some many places.
Okay.
Wind can also be possible with certain some controllers or some design or specs you have to see, but it's a very good you can say area. You continue doing working there in that area, so it can be a very good you can say the output gain in your hands if you are successful in doing that. You just go for some other literatures related to that. What is the control strategies and what is the design for the system? Definitely, you can go for some small system first. You try for some small system, mini system.
Okay. Ma'am, I start with the infinity control, H infinity control, but I could not move
that
further,
is the
but
you can say that is the very core controller H infinity, right? So that
yes ma'am.
you simply choose some simpler controller which is to be incorporated here instead of like PID or PI or something, because H infinity itself is a great area of research.
Yes.
Right. So you simply take some you start with PI or PID, or you take PI, PID in the combination and then try for the control strategy.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, one question is from the audience. He is telling that my mic is not working. So I'm asking on his behalf.
Okay.
So he is just asking how to mitigate the source disturbance while making interactive with the grid with solar and wind. So source disturbance, how to mitigate?
Source disturbance in terms of what? Conventional power?
How his total question is how to mitigate the supply source disturbance rejection while making interactive with grid interfering with solar, wind, or both. So actually, his question is not too much clear.
Yeah, so the
Mitigate
source maybe disturbance, maybe in terms of, I think, low frequency or something, frequency changes are there, maybe something like that. So here that mitigation technique is there for the location of the oscillations in the regional power grid by making, which can take care of this disturbance in the source. Maybe in terms of somewhat dipping in the frequency or something like that. Only two type of disturbances are possible there, dip in some voltage or the frequency.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
So one last question we will take, that is what is major constraint in implementing the smart grid concept in Indian scenario? Asked by Sonam Mittal. Major constraint in implementing the smart grid concept in Indian scenario.
Yeah, basically, first of all, Indians are always hesitated in adopting a very, which is an upcoming tree or which is not conventional. So that hitch we have to take, first of all, we have to take clear. And then regarding the frameworking, the problem associated in Indian concept is that the integration of the proper renewable energy resources, then their design of the controllers, and you can say we have to make use of this restructuring concepts also. So we have to see the different policies also, which are not yet very well developed in Indian power scenario. So that is you can say the major constraints towards the working of the smart grid technology in Indian power sector.
Okay, so I think.
Sir, may I ask one question?
Actually, I'm today having the charge of director also. So if you don't mind, can we stop? We can share our thoughts some other time. Professor
So
Gupta?
yes, yes, sure, ma'am. I can understand.
Because
So
I'm getting so many calls. So if you don't
yes,
mind, please, can we stop here?
yes, yes, sure, ma'am. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your time. And I advise the candidate to
Yes,
write
they can ask
back
me
to you
on
our
my email. No issues.
email. So you may ask your queries on your email directly. So with this, we come to the end of this session. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your time with us.
Thank you, sir.
So I can understand. I think at least 10 calls you got from this session
No issues.
also.
No issues.
Okay, so thanks a lot, ma'am, for sharing your concept with us. So participants got benefited, and this they have asked a question and got interactive with you. So
Thank
thanks a
you so
lot,
much.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor
Thank you.
Gupta, for giving me this opportunity. And I also enjoyed this interactive session. And I would like to associate in future also. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So we will get associated, ma'am, in
Thank you
other
so much.
activities,
Right,
academic
right.
activities from NIT Kurukshetra.
And I wish you a grand success for this Atal course. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.